point, if you will, as well as just getting the chisels. But then I saw you did a video on, I think, a major manufacturing one that includes like removable blades for the actual like sort of chisel template, if you will, and was wondering, what your thoughts were generally between those two products versus the Framon Bullseye, if you were going to buy one for my application of kind of doing it manual, old school, and getting the 2 1/4 chisel and a 1-inch chisel.
Well, I don't use any of those products when I'm in the shop myself. I feel the way I do it is the least expensive and fastest way to do it, where I just measure it, and I use one tool. I use a backset finder that Kwikset stopped making a long time ago. What's nice about Framon is it's simple, it's straightforward, it does one thing, it does one thing, and it does it very well. What I like about the major, when you invest, and that's certainly going to be more money, would be my guess. When you invest into the major platform, you do kind of get access to their entire ecosystem of understanding how their product line works. There will be, when you were to buy, let's say you buy a HIT 66, you can then slap all these other things onto it. So an investment in the major line is something that you can grow if your needs grow. Now, if they're not going to grow and you need to do a lock, and that's all you're ever going to do, then I would probably use something very robust like the Framon, or it's not cheap anymore, but there are people that swear by that Kwikset 138 lock installation kit. I know that we still have some in stock, because that will allow you to do the residential knobs and deadbolts really well. That's just, that would be something else to consider. I don't have any impression that Major is going out of business or going to discontinue things anytime soon. Phil over at Framon, their business is not related to that directly. Their stuff is locksmithing in nature. But he's got a really good tool that when I reviewed it, I think I could only come up with one way that I would improve it. But I can tell you the guy behind it he's like the guy at Major. They're the smartest guy in the room, is the bottom line. So if you want it simple and straightforward, yeah, that Framon would be a way to go. It's rock solid. It's heavy. I wouldn't fear of breaking it if I dropped it.
Oh, really?
But Major's got 50 pages of stuff, though. So buying into there, you might say to yourself, I want to do 161s, and let me see what Major has, because maybe someday I'm going to want to build on that platform or that investment in Major tools.
What are any of the three? So one thing you mentioned, I believe, in the video that you did on the ProLock kit was that the area where you drill the crossbore, you thought, man, this is going to be a potential wear point where after who knows how many times of drilling through, let's say 100 times, that piece may get out of round, and it doesn't look like on that product that was really a user serviceable collar, if you will.
Is there an auger bit that goes in there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know about an auger bit.
Yeah. And would you use a hole saw bit instead in that hole?
No.
To kind of keep it.
No, I wouldn't use that ProLock to begin with. First of all, I would use back then. I would use a spade bit, a 1-inch spade bit that would cost me $1.80.
Sure.
That's what what I've always done.
Gotcha.
Lennox bimetal 2 1/8, a 1-inch Irwin spade bit. I would have my backset finder. The tool that you want, the tool that you're going to want for sure. Having done this by hand thousands of times, the one thing that you can't get away from is having the Porter cable, the Porter 517. That's the lock face template. You should own the lowest horsepower router you can get your hands on. You should own a 1/2-inch 2-flute carbide router bit. You should have the Porter cable 517. You should have the proper collet or guide for it. Because after you drill your 2 1/8, after you drill your 1-inch, that's all easy peasy. You need a 12-foot Stanley tape measure, not the 25-foot. You're going to need the backset finder. The problem is I don't think I have any of those left. Kwikset has, I know that they're still in the 138 kit, but it's just an L angle that allows you to find the 2 3/4 or 2 3/8 backset. It allows you to find the edge, the center of the thickness of the door, and it accounts for square or beveled edge doors for as much as it can. So you get this really cheap way of automatically locating your backset, because backset's not the edge of the door to the center of the hole. The backset is the edge of the door as measured from the center of the door itself. Meaning 2 3/4 on a square edge door is not 2 3/4 on a beveled edge door if you measure it from the high or the low side.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so you got to be, if you're off what would be less than a 16th, it's not the end of the world, because a lot of locks are going to account for that. But if you're installing an $800 grade 1 best cylindrical, yeah, that thing wants to breathe in the properly located hole. So, but when it comes to that Porter Cable 517, I don't chintz on that, because I want what my customer's going to see, that 2 1/4 by 1.8". I want that to be cut with a router, period, every single time. That's what and then you need a corner chisel, which is super easy, which, you know, that's a stock item. So if all you're doing is simple 2 1/8, the Framon's a good choice. I think. What does Phil call it? He call it a bullseye? I forget what he calls it.
Yeah, bullseye, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. It's rock solid. You know, I think what my hesitation was is I didn't know where to find the center. I would have milled a V groove 20 thousandths deep, so I knew where the so when I took my 12-foot Stanley, dragged it down to 43 9/16, and with a pencil marked my door on the style, I knew right where to line up my bullseye. That would be, you put a piece of masking tape or whatever, but that would be the only improvement I would have made to that.
Yeah, but that's a big quality of life improvement. I mean, you know, I get it. Yeah, interesting. And if you could, so you did mention this Kwikset kit. Is that, if you were going to go all manual, if you didn't go the router route, which I totally get why you should, and that's really the right way to do it, but if you wanted a manual backup, you know, I'm doing this by hand with a chisel type kit, is that Kwikset kit really the best thing for that application in your mind?
Per dollar it is, yes, because that Pro Lock is a fortune. The Kwikset kit, when I first started in this industry in 1990, that kit was about $138. It's not an order of magnitude more expensive today, but it's probably $900 would be my guess.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For what you spend, you're going to get a lot of razzmatazz for it, meaning you'll be able to handle stuff you're going to bump into, but you're still going to need a hammer and a chisel, because you're still going to mortise the rest of it out truly by hammer and chisel. You know,
and did you say that Kwikset doesn't make that kit anymore? Like, this is discontinued, so you're finding, you know.
It's discontinued. When I discovered they had discontinued it, I said to Kwikset, "How many do you have? 200? Great. Here's a PO for 200 of them." Amazing.
Wow. Wonder why they discontinued it. I mean, if it's the tool, kind of crazy. But I guess they just want to sell locks.
Yeah, you know, I like Kwikset because when you call over there, believe it or not, these are people that understand locksmithing. When I talk to tech support, I think what you got though is people, because the same company that owns Baldwin, they own Kwikset. So I think I think there are numbers people looking at what's involved that, you know, what I say to these numbers people is, you're leaving money on the table, man. I mean, don't you I mean, if you knew what other options were in the world to do what this tool does, you would be selling it for 5 times the cost. You would be profitable, and your volume wouldn't fall precipitously, because you know what? People still need to eat, people still need haircuts, and people are still going to want deadbolts.
Absolutely. Boy, so simple, but so true. So I am looking at that Kwikset kit. So it looks like it has a very similar, you know, sort of C-clamp style, clamps on the edge of the door, template, if you will, for boring out that hole. And it's got some sort of locator chisel mechanism that we're going to be hitting with a hammer to strike, the 2 1/4 and 1 inch. It almost looks like the ProLock kit just done better. Is that a fair summary of that?
Yeah, definitely. I have the ProLock kit. It's got to be double the cost, if not more. It is going to be something that you're going to feel. It's going to be something better suited to hand to an employee to do the job because the build quality is more robust. If you're the only person who's ever going to touch it, it's hard to measure it. Like I have in the lock shop, I have my own key machines. Nobody touches them but me. Oh, you want to cut keys? Yeah, I'll get you your own machine. So now, but there are people that swear by that kit in the sense that it's not unusual for me to sell 5 of them at one time. The last order was for 5 to an Army base, where the Army is. They have a carpentry shop wherever it is. It wasn't Eglin, but it was somewhere. And they use them because they got multiple people, but they also know that they're going to be wearing parts down. Got it.
And do you feel like that Kwikset is less prone? I mean, if I'm the only one using it and get good at it and I'm not loaning it out, you can pry it from my cold dead hands once it's mine type deal. But it sounds like personally you would go for the Kwikset kit over the ProLock kit, even though the contents are roughly the same. You think that the extra cost for the Kwikset kit is worth it?
Absolutely, because the bushings are still available and replaceable. I have the bushings from the OEM because that's the wear part in the edge of it. And also, if it's used by you and only you in an adult, delicate manner, it'll be something that your children will list on eBay in 40 years.
Oh, wow. Sweet.
I mean, that's the kind of thing. I don't have this tool. I don't have a need for it, and I'm not going to sell it at a garage sale.
It makes total sense. Do you know, and can I order that Kwikset? Is that on your site? I just looked at like Google Images to see.
Yeah, is it my site if you type in, literally Kwikset 138. You'll find it there. You'll also find the Porter 517. You want to look at that for the sake of knowing what that thing is, because nothing will do that job. I used to use a Porter cable 7/8 horse. They've discontinued that one that I love. They now call it the Heritage series. So if you can ever find them used on eBay, you'll know it because it's got a perfectly black round head. And if they have a silver round head, they're really, really old. But if you can ever find some of those black, like a good condition used 7/8 horse, because everything you're going to find today is like a horse and a half. That's a lot of gyro happening in my hand. I don't want to kill myself trying to do this. Yeah, a horse and a half. Absolutely. That's way overkill.
And then looking at kind of the accessories you have listed, I see something called jig bushing, and it's like a little copper brass looking part. Is that what you want?
Well, you'll get those, but the point of the matter is, you'll get those with the kit, but the point of the matter is, in 10 years, when you're like, oh yeah, that's got a little out of whack on me, that's just a bush. That bronze is a self-lubricating material, which is why self-lubricating materials are used in lock part manufacturing. You'll still be able to buy those because it's 3 dimensions. It's a length, it's a wall thickness, and it's an ID, or whatever, an overall, an OD, an ID, and a length. So that's just a bushing manufacturer. Kwikset didn't make multi-spur bits. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of course. Actually, the one you wanted was the one made by Classic, but this call should have come 5 years ago. Classic Engineering in California. If I were to ever actually use one of those tools, it would be that guy's stuff. Absolutely. I mean, that saying is built like a Sherman tank, and it turns out Sherman tanks were awful.
Right.
You wanted a Panzer Tiger, I think is the deal. That thing was just built like a Saturn V rocket.
Yeah. Huh. Amazing. I mean, I may just order, if you've got extra bushings, I may just throw that in the order anyway, just to throw them in the case and save them for 10 years from now, or for my kids and grandkids, right? And they're like, he was a smart man. He bought the bushings, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. The one thing that I need for this job, he's got extras.
Yeah. Is that really the only wear part, in your opinion, in that whole kit, is just those bushings and drill bits, of course?
Yeah, I was going to say, other than the multi-spur, that's pretty much it.
Gotcha.